Okay, well, I'm going to see how the lighting in this apartment works here, because obviously uh, it's at night, and I don't know if this video is going to turn out to be real good quality, as I don't have any overhead lighting in my apartment. So I basically have every single light on in this place, trying to shine into this area without throwing too much light on the subject and overwhelming the entire picture. But I'm going to try this and see what happens and what it looks like. And if I feel like the picture looks too grainy, isn't good enough quality, I'm going to go ahead and just do my videos from this point on in the daytime, when there's plenty of light that floods through these windows that are in front of me. So no doubt many of you have seen all of my recent videos, the ones that I did the same day where I was straggling my way to Walmart and had to stop at the bank first, and did 5 bus transfers and drug myself home. And that was a real occurrence. That didn't, I just didn't do that for the camera. And I was going to promised all of you that I was going to show you what happened afterward. And I will do that. I intend to do that. First, a little bit of background. The videos, obviously, that I've made were all made on the same day, and I uploaded them about the same time, I think around the same day, June 12th, I think is when they were all published. I'm not sure if it was exactly that day. It seemed like I was putting them all up. But obviously I wasn't able to publicly promote those videos all at the same time, because I just thought it would not only would it have, I just wasn't able to have the energy to put each video together, edit them, put the proper information on them. I just did not have the energy, which gives you a little bit of glimpse into what it is that was happening in the time after I actually did do all of that day's filming. So it just, even if I had been able to do all the videos at once, I just felt that putting them all up at one time would have just flooded all of the various places, platforms that I put up these videos in, and it just would have been too many for people to look at. So I don't think each one wouldn't have gotten their fair amount of exposure. So having said all of that, of course, it took me until a week ago today for me, I think the week ago, or over last weekend, to get the last video up. And it's been a good 5 or 6 days since I've had a video up. But as I alluded to before, the video process was difficult in making the video. Of course, all that was going on. And then afterward, having to put each video up was difficult and painstaking too, because even though for the average person, again, it doesn't take much effort to put these together, just type a few things here, type a few things there, put some tags in, put some of the promotional cards in. It could take me 45 minutes to do one video, and I have a very slow connection on my computer anyway, so a simple 6-minute video can take up to 3 hours to upload, which is very frustrating and a very slow process. So obviously it wasn't realistic for me to get all the videos up at once, all of them promoted at once, all of them in the same platforms at once. While all of that was going on, of course, I mean, even though it had been, you know, roughly 10 days or 2 weeks since I'd even gone on this trek, I was continuing to deal with the fallout from all those bus transfers. First, I want to clarify by saying I didn't do all those bus transfers 5 of them just so I could make a big stink for the camera and tire myself out to the point where everybody has to look at Scott because he's all worn out from his 5 bus transfers. That's not how Scotty rolls. That's not what I do. That's not the purpose of these videos. I'm not exaggerating or making things up, and I'm not trying to pull anybody's strings. I'm not trying to throw any black voodoo video magic at you. I'm not trying to make up things or make things look worse than they are or more difficult than they are. These things are all 100% absolutely, positively authentic in how, not only how I look on the videos that I'm doing, but how they're unfolding. So there's not any question there, and that what I'm presenting to you, and it shouldn't be any question in your mind, at least from what you're getting from what I'm telling you, and what I'm presenting, that you have my, I guess you'd say, I guarantee is the word, or you have my under complete 100% truth here, that what I'm videoing here, what you're seeing is authentic. It's not pushed or made up or overblown, or obviously it's pretty hard to fake this, and it's getting a little late at night here. It's 12:15, so I'm kind of slowing down more so than usual. You're going to start to see maybe I'm going to be out of breath a little bit as I continue along here. Excuse me. My thoughts are going to slow a little bit, so I may have pauses here like I've been doing. It may not be as crisp as I may be in the middle of the afternoon, even on a day where I'm still overly sluggish. I may actually be sharper than I am now because it is kind of getting time for me to fall into bed, and it has. I had some activities today that I did. I had to do them, so naturally I'm tired from that. But anyway, it's time to stop rambling and get on to the meat of the video here, and that was, yes, the 5 bus transfers that day caused me several days of an ME/CFS crash. And what I mean by that is, and I've explained it to other videos, that's the exacerbation of symptoms: exhaustion, pain, muscle dysfunction, inability to move, coordinate, do things that even from my baseline are actually more normal for me, which is about 25% functioning for a person my age. I mean, 25% of the things that I normally used to do without giving a single thought, now that's the most I can do on my best day. So that whole trek, those bus transfers, shut that down, that 25% down to pretty much about 10% or less on any number, probably about 3 to 4 days afterward. And for those days afterward, I was not able to do any major thing around the house, laundry, dishes, any kind of picking light objects up or anything that I needed to. It was just more sacked out on the couch watching TV. And even then, the act on some days of watching television would, sitting on the couch with my muscles laying against the back of my love seat here, which I have, nice comfy love seat, on a couple of those days right after I did the bus transfers, literally was so exertional for my body that I actually felt better getting up, even though I wasn't in a good deal of pain and stiffness getting up, and I was having difficulty walking around. I took a bath, which is part of my daily routine, and I'll explain some of that in upcoming videos. But I took a bath to get better movement into my muscles, get some perfusion in there, get some fluids, blood circulation to help me move better. And even the act of taking the bath and having to pull myself up on the grab bars was enough to almost offset any gains that I got from bathing in hot water. So I would get out of the bath and I'd brush my teeth and I would floss. I mean, I take care of my teeth as I'm supposed to. And everything else that I did after my routine, and I'd get something to drink, sit on the couch, and I would look over maybe some emails or just look at something I need to accomplish that day. And I'd sit on the love seat, and as a day wore on, my neck and shoulders, within a couple of hours after that bath, would begin to tighten up and exhaust and begin to lose ability to... I apologize. My nose is bothering me. I don't know what it is. I think it's allergies in the building here. But I would lose my ability to use those muscles just sitting on the couch. And it's not because the the conventional wisdom is, well, you're out of shape and you're deconditioned and you're tired and you're crampy and you sit on the couch for 4 hours and your muscles stiffen up, and that's why, of course, you feel crappy, so you just gotta get up and move around. But that works with people who don't have ME/CFS because, for the most part, I mean, the muscles have normal circulation and they have normal energy production. So even with fibromyalgia, for example, even though it's difficult, I've heard people tell me that with movement it feels better. But with ME/CFS, movement does not feel better. You might be able to maintain certain movements or certain kinds of movement depending upon your severity level, your exhaustion level, how you feel on a given day, what's been going on prior days, how taxed you are, etc. But if you are at the point where you are bedridden, or you were in a situation that I was in where you basically couldn't do much of anything, and you're sitting there and you're having those kinds of days, those days are so bad that when you get up and start moving around, it actually will exhaust the muscles even more because there's just no energy. There's just nothing. The body is shut down. It's literally dysfunctional. Muscle tone, muscle tolerance, movement, anything that everybody takes for granted when they can freely move around. That's all. That's gone. So So for several days there I was battling that, and this is not the first time I've had that issue. No, it's not anything. I'm going to try to, I don't know how to preface this or explain it in a way that it's understandable. It's not that this is normal for me, but it's not abnormal. The thing is, I have a severity of ME/CFS where my functioning is sort of in between severe and debilitating. But if I don't take care of myself and I don't manage my energy levels, I'll go from, like I said, as I've demonstrated on this video, from 25% functioning to less than 10% functioning. And that's at the point where I'm just about bedridden, or I'm sitting on a couch all day, and I can barely even get up to feed myself. So that's where I'm centered. That's what happens to me when I do things like buy bus transfers, walking to the bank, and going to Walmart all in the same day. And as I've said alluded to in other videos, I avoid those situations as much as possible. Unfortunately, because of my personal setup, my social setup, and for God's sake, all of the I'm trying to think of the word. I mean, I'm because I'm tiring out. The utter and complete struggle that I've had in the last, not only 4 years, but the last two, and especially when I was homeless, just over the past year itself, especially, it's been the worst. I have not been able to help that. So I have been driven, pushed, called to literally do a whole bunch of things on my day, in a day's worth of activity, to keep myself surviving and to keep myself alive, that literally destroys my functioning for several days after. So if any of you out there have the doubt that there's some kind of attitude issue with me, a psychological issue, that, oh, you're just lazy, you just don't want to put the effort into it, that's your problem, that's what your deal is, why, yeah, it's not all about, it's all in your head, blah, 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 blah. That's, if that were the case, then why would I push myself to do things, and then the next day wake up and be totally trashed from those things, and then not be able to do anything for 4 days, then get up and do things again, and trash myself again? I wouldn't put any effort into it if I was if I were, quote unquote, psychologically lazy. If I were lazy and it was something that I was doing because I wasn't motivated, I would just sit here like a blob and do nothing. But I can't do that. And even if I had someone to help me around the house in my life right now, even if that happened, I would still get up and do the things that I couldn't do every day. Because I don't want to sit on the couch all day and do nothing. I don't want to do that. Why would I? I want to move around and do as much as possible like anybody else. You literally have millions of people. I mean, I don't know how many millions, but there are probably more than, I mean, there are several million people around the world that have some form of ME/CFS that are bedridden. Why would you want to stay in bed if you had a choice? Why would you do that? And they're not getting any attention from it. They're not getting anybody feeling any kind of empathy for them. They're not getting any kind of breaks from it. They're getting society's throwing things back in their face. They're being rejected by their families, their friends. They're being fired from their jobs. They're being kicked off of government assistance roles. They're being thrown out in the street, living out of their car like I was. Doctors aren't believing them. What in the world would possess a person to do that? What kind of attention would that even? There's no good attention that comes from this. So I'm trying to use that whole thing to show not only, I mean, I do the best I can to control the cyclical nature of this illness. But a prejudiced, biased, and misunderstood world gets in the way. Now, I shield myself from that as much as I can. I do everything I can to not listen to people, to block people out, to stop myself from listening to people who I know are going to be damaging and harmful to me physically and emotionally. That's just what I do, because that's called survival, and that's called being caring for myself, self-preservation. That's what I do. I'm able to sustain that a lot because I'm by myself and I'm alone at this point in time. And I deal with all these things with myself. And I try to work through them. And I could very well just sit here and not tell anybody about this, but I share them with you because I want people to know what it is that I'm dealing with. Because for every person like me, and there are probably a lot of women, men out there who are alone, perhaps dealing with ME/CFS types of illnesses or symptoms. Illness symptoms. There are a whole bunch more who are being assuaged, assaulted, not supported by their families, friends, and people they've known. and may not be in the same situation that I am, where they're independent from it, and they're being accosted every day, and they're being stepped on every day, and they're being told they're worthless, and they're being told that they're lazy idiots and they can't do anything right, and they're just a bunch of morons, and they're just being abused and put down and stomped on, and somebody's got their foot on their throat. And I guess I just want to say at the end of this video that for people, before I even say it, the last thing I'm going to say, you go into, there are Facebook support groups for MECFS, and they're sponsored by ME Action and a few other advocacy groups. You go in there and you find a bunch. You'll find your share of people who are just sitting around trying to tell stories, or trying to throw some sort of religious yarn into the whole thing, trying to make everybody feel better, and trying to put a little positive pat answer to the problem of MECFS, or trying to act like it's not really a bad illness. But you're going to find more so literally hundreds of people, dozens of posts a day from around the world, people who feel are under absolute assault from those in their families and lives who they should feel supported from. And they're ripped apart, and they're treated like garbage. I'm not talking about Africa or somewhere in Asia or the Middle East or something. I'm talking about Europe. I'm talking about the United States. I'm talking about Canada. I'm talking about Mexico. I'm talking about, you think of any civilized country, you would not think that you would think that's supposed to be quote unquote understanding and compassionate for people with diseases and mental illness and other things like that. Those people are not getting it there. They're not getting it in these. It's all over the place. People aren't getting this. And it's a shame. Shame isn't the word. It's infuriating. It's inexcusable. It's bigotry. And it's inhuman. Because these people have done nothing to anybody. They've done absolutely nothing to anybody. They're just ill. They're sick people. They're medically sick people. And there is no human response, excuse, rationalization of anybody with any degree, from any religion, any politician, anybody, that it can excuse that behavior. And yet it happens. It's modern day. It's right now. And it's happening all over the place, and nobody knows about it because there aren't enough of us speaking up. Well, the jig is up. I'm here to speak up about it, and that's why, basically the main reason why I'm putting these videos out. Because I'm tired of it. I'm sick and darn tired of it. And short of going into a swearing rant here, which I'm not going to do, because I'm too articulate for that. I am going to continue to use these videos to beat over the head people who do this stuff, and the institutional bias and bigotry against people with MECFS. I'm going to destroy it with these videos, and I've just gotten started. So, what was I going to say? I think I've said it already, haven't I? Pretty much. Yeah, I guess other than, no excuses, and people are horribly cruel to each other and all this other crap. Yeah, I think I've said my piece. So I'm going to take some time out here next couple of days. I'm going to enjoy some fireworks. And Next video you see from me, I will be continuing to talk more about this and more in depth about MECFS and what it is, and exactly what it is my point is here in making these videos.